my friends or my friend's family.
Mm.
So I envision a community where we get back to our indigenous roots and we focus on healing instead of revenge. And I think concretely, it's important to point out there's organizations who are already doing that work.
Right. Let's,
Um,
yes, please amplify them right now.
yeah. So I'll talk a little bit about Success Stories, the organization that I helped start. Like in Success Stories, we are working with people who have committed harm, talking to them about patriarchy and healing through our patriarchy together and transforming our lives. So
Hmm.
that's like a transformative justice organization
Right.
because we see harm as just a symptom of patriarchy. So
Hmm.
if we can change your patriarchy, then you're not going to be acting out this harmful these harmful behaviors.
Right.
Um, there's organizations like Missy up in the Bay Area or Bay Area Transformative Justice Collective that are in the communities doing serious restorative transformative work when it comes to sexual violence and human trafficking. That's
Wow.
not easy to do. I mean, these folks are helping come with safety plans for survivors, helping come with plans that are going to keep their abusers away, um,
Right.
helping the survivors get housing, get healing, get their lives back. And these organizations are not being funded the way that the police departments are being funded, right? And we
Right.
know that actually in rape cases right now, it's a one digit percentage number of rape cases that actually lead to any convictions.
Hmm.
And that's even considering most people who are assaulted don't even report.
Thank you. I was just about to say that. Yeah. Yeah.
So the yeah, it's about I envision a community where we don't have cops and police everywhere in
Hmm.
communities of color, but also where we see like extreme amounts of investment into the things that we already know work, that we've seen work. We've seen people transform their behavior right here in the communities. We've seen um, this evidence that education is the number one thing that stops people from committing harm in the first place. We've seen these organizations that are doing great transformative work, restorative work around sexual violence, and we need to invest in them like how we invest in the cops, like billions of dollars into healing for survivors.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, when you were speaking on this culture of revenge that we've all adopted and become so obsessed with, it reminded me of um, 88, your friend, and the and I know he's a part of Success Stories, and he's done incredible work. I mean, he came to prison when he was 14, 15.
15.
Um, and he's such a beautiful person. I saw him yesterday in the documentary, and he speaks about his brother being murdered and being left, being tied up and left for dead, and him vowing if he ever met that murderer that he would ruin him naturally. And through this set of events, being in close proximity with this guy and deciding instead to forgive him. And I think that's just a testament to the work that you're doing with Success Stories, and the dismantling of this hyper masculine, hyper revengeful kind of behavior, right? And that's of course not something that's easy to do. I To forgive somebody for doing that is almost impossible. But anyways, that just reminded me of that.
Yeah,
Yeah. What's like a question that you would want that you don't get asked enough that you wish people asked?
that's great. I want to think about that, but I want to respond real quick to also what you said, just bringing up 88. I think 88, who is still incarcerated, he's been incarcerated almost 17 years now, from when he was 15. He's about to be 32 in October. 88 is such a jarring example of the tragedy of prisons.
Mm-hmm.
So 88 was able to forgive the man that killed his brother. And imagine the resource 88 would be to our communities if he was back and he was able to talk to other people who have experienced that level of violence. But
Exactly.
instead, our system has him locked up for some arbitrary amount of 15. And that's not to say that the murder he committed wasn't horrible, but again, if we centered the healing of that family and the transforming of the system that led to it in the first place, poverty, patriarchy, then we can stop it from happening in the future. And 88 could be here right now with the, I wish he was here on this live with you instead of me, to be able to tell his story and the way that it would transform all the people who are watching. But they got him locked up, held at gunpoint, hundreds of miles away from his family. Who does that serve? Who does that help? Yeah, I just wanted to shout out that point, and
Yeah.
I'll put we manage 88's Instagram. I'll put his at in the chat because he's a dope person to follow. We post videos for him, like a few every week, where he like talks to folks about these things. Exactly, he's an amazing singer, rapper, drums, guitar, and bass player, and piano. He all learned in the church as a kid, and he's just incredible. He's just incredible. Shout out to 88, but that I feel like folks don't usually ask. I don't know. I don't answer that many questions, but I don't know if I get interviewed that much. But I would love to ask a question of you.
Yeah.
When you what has been your like relationship to, introduction to, response to defunding the police and prison abolition? Like, how did you come to hear of that? How did you feel about it? And like, how has your journey